Amandla. 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 Thank you, comrades. Thank you, President of the National Union of Mine Workers, President of NUM, Comrade Huitsi Mudim Balepile, Acting General Secretary, Comrade Mpo Pakedi, General Secretary of SANCO, Comrade Mike Soko, Deputy President of COSATU, Comrade Mike Shingange, General Secretary of the SACP, Comrade Solima Paila, former leaders of the National Union of Mine Workers, Minister of Electricity and Energy, Comrade Khosientsu Sputla Ramkhopa, fellow comrades and compatriots. I've made a commitment to the leadership of NUM that we will join the Congress tomorrow. So this is not scope and donor. We want to hear your criticisms. We want to hear what the giant union of mine workers says at its Congress, even if it's not about the ANC, but about how we're going to overcome the challenges, so many that are facing our country and our union that need to be addressed so that NUM can continue to be the stronger union representative of the workers. We bring you, comrades, warm, fraternal greetings from the African National Congress and extend our sincere well wishes for a productive and transformative Congress. Platforms like this one are not mere formalities. They are the lifeblood for ideological debate, indispensable for sustaining the vital political engagements and critical reflections that fortify our collective resolve and that ensure we remain true to the enduring spirit of our struggle for fundamental transformation of our society. The ANC does not take these invitations lightly. We recognize the National Union of Mine Workers as the single union that shaped the contours of the very fabric of our revolutionary struggle. The mine workers braved the depths of the earth, facing perilous conditions to fuel the engine of our resistance. Workers fought many battles to ensure better working conditions with mine health and safety as one of the most challenging occupational hazards that has seen many lose their lives. This interaction provides us with invaluable opportunity to remind you of where we come from and directly engage with your perspectives on the critical political questions that confront our nation and our alliance today. More importantly, it offers us the space to share our thoughts unfiltered, bypassing the often distorting lens of third parties like the media. This direct engagement fosters mutual understanding, strengthens our strategic alignment, and reinforces our shared commitment to the national democratic revolution, ensuring that we move forward as a united front with a clear and unwavering vision. We are also honored to be here amongst the organized working class of our country. The ANC, as a disciplined force of the left, is always happy to spend time and to express its support with the workers of our country. The working class remains at the center and at the leadership of our national democratic revolution. Whilst we will continue to use the levers of the state to accelerate change, and fundamental transformation can only be sustained if the people are organized and mobilized. Trade unions are critical in this endeavor. The ANC, as part of the alliance with organized labor, represented by COSATU, continues to be interested in the world of labor. We remain concerned about the world of work. We remain interested on the condition of work. We want to know whether mining companies are paying a living wage. We want to know whether there is adequate provision for houses for the workers and their families. It is impossible for us not to care about these issues affecting workers, because the majority of our people are working class. Without thoroughgoing transformation of the lives of the working class, the promise of our democracy will not be fulfilled. The mine workers constitute that section of the working class that has carried the heaviest burden of exploitation and oppression, the force that has toiled and bled alongside the martyrs of our long struggle for liberation. We have always understood that the liberation struggle in South Africa, with the unique colonialism of a special type characterization, was not only about political liberation, but equally economic liberation. Political liberation will remain hollow liberty without fundamental economic transformation across race, gender, and class. Whilst the ANC remains a multi-class organization, our overwhelming bias leans towards the working class for the obvious reason that this constitutes the main motive force for change. That is where the ANC derives the largest share of its electoral mandate. Comrades, the history of NUM and the ANC is intertwined narrative of resistance and resilience, forged in the crucible of struggle. From the darkest days of apartheid, when the very existence of our people was under threat, NUM stood as a bulwark against oppression and the super exploitation of black workers. Describing the lives of black workers in 1914, Sol Plaatje, the first Secretary General of the ANC, recognized the seminal role of workers in our liberation struggle when he said, and I quote, 200,000 subterranean heroes who by day and by night for a mere pittance laid down their lives to the familiar fall of rock, and who at deep levels ranging from 1,000 to 3,000 feet in the bowels of the earth sacrificed their lungs to the rock dust which develops minus sepsis and pneumonia, close quote. From 1918, the ANC supported the strike by the African municipal, sanitary workers and African mine workers. ANC leaders, AWG, Champion and Selbin Simang worked with Clement Gadali in building the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union into a powerful force in the 1920s. The ANC was central to the formation of your predecessor, the African Mine Workers Union, in 1941. The Transvaal ANC Provincial Conference mandated the Provincial Executive Committee to convene a conference of mine workers to launch the union, the African Mine Workers Union, which elected J.B. Marks as its president. J.B. Marks later became the president of the Transvaal African National Congress. The historic 1946 African mine workers strike was the biggest industrial action by African workers ever to take place in South Africa. The strike shook the foundations of apartheid and gave momentum to the need for a strategic shift from passive resistance to mass mobilization and militant action. It is the mine workers who inspired the ANC Youth League to push for the adoption of the 1949 Program of Action by the African National Congress. The ANC was always influenced by mine workers. The ANC leaders and activists who were union members also played a central role in the formation of the South African Congress of Trade Unions, SACTU, in 1955, the formation of Umkhonto weSizwe in 1961 and subsequent armed struggle, the revival of progressive trade unions in the 1970s and the formation of COSATU in 1985, and the subsequent adoption of the Freedom Charter by the Federation in 1987, and growth of the public sector unions. The ANC's work among trade unions has always been guided by the evolution of its strategy and tactics. The working class is the primary motive force of the national democratic revolution, and workers who are organized and politically conscious constitute a key detachment of the working class. Accordingly, SACTU and COSATU became strategic allies of the ANC, born out of this collective theorization of the role and place of workers in the national democratic revolution. The progressive trade union movement has been a key component of the mass democratic movement, which mobilized various sectors of society to render South Africa ungovernable and make apartheid unworkable. In response to President Oliver Tambo's clarion call, many union leaders and members made supreme sacrifices for the freedom and rights enjoyed by many workers today. Many were jailed, some were murdered, and others joined the movement in exile. After the formation of the NUM in 1982, as a successor and inheritor of the militant traditions of the African Mine Workers Union, it is the NUM and the UDF aligned trade unions that shaped the labor movement's ideological attitudes and subsequently led to the adoption of the Freedom Charter by COSATU. Comrades and compatriots, we are here to thank the mine workers for contributing to the many phases of our struggle from the 1940s to this day. We come from far, and a tortuous path we are yet to traverse remains ahead of us. Until the NTR reaches its logical conclusion, we will not turn our back on you. We will not turn our back on the alliance. This Congress takes place against the backdrop of sharpening contradictions, both internationally and locally, characterized by dramatic shifts in the political landscape. On the domestic front, the electoral outcomes of 2024 national and provincial elections plunged the movement into uncharted waters, characterized by the National Executive Committee as a strategic setback for the national democratic revolution, and characterized by the president of NUM as a loss. Despite this, comrades, as the party with the largest votes, the ANC seized both the tactical and strategic initiative and started shaping a narrative about the need for us to secure political power and not sit on the sidelines. We came with the idea that all political parties must work together and voluntarily cooperate in setting up an inclusive, viable, and stable government of national unity. We didn't choose two political parties, because if we chose two political parties, which the president talks about, it will not be GNU. It will be something else called maybe the coming together of two political parties. We did this not because we are cowards or sellouts. Any serious revolutionary understands that there are moments when we have to take tactical measures to open space for the revolution to recover from a major setback. The GNU must be understood in this context. Our strategy for the realization of the NDR has not changed, but the tactics to change based on the material conditions occasioned by the outcome of the 2024 elections. We no longer have 50% majority, but we remain in control of government, and we will not retreat from pushing forward the national democratic revolution. There is no better demonstration of our ability to forge ahead with our manifesto commitments despite the changed political landscape than the promulgation of critical transformation laws in the form of the National Health Insurance Act, the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, and the Expropriation Act. The 2024 moment has brought to the fore stark contradictions, both within the alliance and society in general. Like any living organism, our alliance is dynamic, constituted by 4 independent allies. Even though we share common perspectives on the NDR, we will always have differences on tactics. However, we are all committed to the unity and cohesion of the alliance. We are engaged in deliberations aimed at strengthening the alliance, which include discussions on the reconfiguration of the alliance and to seek the most optimal way to ensure effectiveness of the alliance on the political programs of the movement. Yesterday, we had a bilateral with the SACP. We discussed the challenges of the moment. There are a number of challenges that demand that we close ranks. We agreed that we should continue to find ways to strengthen our relationship, to confront problems together, and to listen to each other as allies. Our shared history is a testament to the power of unity and the unwavering commitment to the national democratic revolution. In moments of national crisis, this relationship has been a reliable source of strength, direction, and unwavering support. As we look to the future, we must harness this legacy, draw strength from our shared experiences, and use them to drive progress and transformation, ensuring that the sacrifices of the past are not in vain, and that the promise of a better future is realized for all. The geopolitical landscape is experiencing tectonic shifts with the rise of the ultra-right governments with fascist characteristics, hell-bent in reasserting racist tendencies of yesteryear. These are the authors of neocolonialism and modern-day imperialism, steeped in entrenching racial inequality and disdain for human solidarity, steeped in warmongering and ethnic cleansing. These developments are fueled by a new wave of disinformation that has replaced diplomacy and intelligence, underpinned by unbridled greed and pursuit of commercial interests at all costs. We unequivocally pledged our solidarity with the people of Palestine and took the unprecedented step to haul the apartheid Israel regime before the International Court of Justice, to be held accountable for its actions in Gaza and against the people of Palestine at large. History has no blank checks or blank pages. The world will not forget that the United States has used its veto power in the United Nations Security Council 48 times over the decades to block any attempt to hold Israel accountable for its illegal actions and violations of international law. The hypocrisy and double standards of those who wield their veto power as a weapon to allow Israel to commit unspeakable atrocities with impunity while others must be held accountable for the same or lesser atrocities. Our deep bonds of solidarity with those that remain oppressed were forged in the furnaces of our shared struggles, from Palestine to Western Sahara. Despite the pressures exerted on us by those who seek to impose their will on our sovereign state, we dare not falter in our duty to advance a better Africa and a better world, where peaceful coexistence of nations respecting each other's sovereignty in a multipolar and rules-based world order, which is underpinned by adherence by all nations to multilateralism as opposed to unilateralism. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, the working class remains central to driving a forward momentum and shaping the future of our nation. The ANC strategy and tactics document asserts that, I quote, "The working class remain the leading force in the struggle for social transformation," close quote, reminding us that our struggle is not merely a historical artifact, but a living and evolving project. However, we must acknowledge the strategic shifts that have impacted our economy. The mining sector, once a dominant force, has seen a fluctuating yet overall significant contribution to our gross domestic product. According to recent reports, the South African mining industry contributed 6% of the country's total nominal GDP during the first 3 quarters of last year. While this represents a slight decrease from the 7.3% in 2022, it still underscores the sector's vital role. Additionally, Mining Weekly also reflected during the 3rd quarter of last year, the sector employed 4.5% of the country's total workforce. This indicates that the sector is still a major employer, providing livelihoods and sustaining communities. However, we must also recognize the challenges facing the mining sector, including logistical constraints, electricity supply issues, the impact of climate change, and increased crime and corruption, which threaten the sector's viability and the well-being of its workers. Despite these challenges, the ANC firmly believes that mining remains a critical pillar for our economy's growth. South Africa possesses vast mineral resources, including platinum group metals, manganese, and rare earth elements that, if strategically harnessed, can drive industrialization and beneficiation. We must use our critical minerals to build a new and transformed economy that is inclusive and empowering to workers and black people in general. South Africa faces significant economic hurdles. We grapple with slow growth, persistently with unemployment, high unemployment, particularly among our youth, and the challenges of social reproduction. The latest quarterly labor force survey confirms that the youth unemployment remains alarmingly high, exceeding 40%, creating a generation of disaffected and marginalized young people who feel alienated from the promise of our democracy. Economic growth projections remain modest, hampered by structural constraints, policy uncertainty, and global economic headwinds. Social inequalities persist, with wealth concentrated in the hands of few, while millions struggle to survive, facing the daily indignities of poverty and hardships. The ANC is prioritizing industrialization and beneficiation to address these challenges. As outlined in the 2025 January 8 statement, we are committed to using our national mineral resources to drive industrial development, create jobs, and stimulate economic growth. To unlock the potential of beneficiation, we must invest in infrastructure, skills development, and research and development. Comrades, as we redouble our efforts to undertake organizational rebuilding and renewal, this is guided by an appreciation, echoed In our many resolutions and documents, we stipulate that renewal demands a return to the ANC's core values and principles, ensuring that our actions are guided by integrity and a commitment to serving the people. As the ANC, we are committed to a comprehensive renewal process, focusing on strengthening our organizational capacity, enhancing our accountability, and restoring the trust of the people. We are implementing robust internal mechanisms to ensure ethical leadership, effective governance, and transparent decision-making. We are also focusing on the revitalization of our branches, ensuring they are vibrant centers of community engagement, political education, and social mobilization. All members of the ANC have to undertake serious political education, and branches must focus on solving service delivery challenges instead of being preoccupied with palace politics. The unity of progressive forces remains a strategic imperative. As O.R. Tambo eloquently stated, unity is the rock on which the future of this country will be built. Without unity, there can be no victory. The ANC strategy and tactics documents consistently emphasize the importance of this unity, recognizing that our strength lies in our collective action. Comrades, a strong COSATU and a vibrant SACP and a vibrant civic movement are crucial to the renewal of our broader movement, ensuring that the voice of the working class remains central to our struggle. These organizations are essential partners in our struggle for a just and equitable society, providing critical support and guidance as we navigate the challenges ahead. Your strength is our strength, and your success is our success. Let us be clear, comrades. The renewal of the ANC is not a solitary endeavor. It is a collective project that demands the active participation and unwavering commitment of all our alliance partners. COSATU, with its deep roots in the working class, and the SACP, with its unwavering commitment to socialist principles, are indispensable to this process. We need your critical insights, Comrade President. We are not allergic to criticism. Your grassroots mobilization and your unwavering solidarity to ensure that the ANC remains true to its mandate and its mission. We must forge a renewed alliance built on mutual respect, shared values, and common vision for a better future. We must strengthen our organizational capacity, deepen our ideological clarity, and enhance our ability to mobilize the masses of our people. Be careful about every decision we take, whether it advances or it weakens the project of the National Democratic Revolution. We must stand together in the face of adversity. It is at this moment, comrades, when we are tested, that we need to work tirelessly to build a society where justice, equality, and prosperity prevail. Let us renew our commitment to the struggle, and let us march forward, united in our purpose, towards the realization of our shared dream. In conclusion, the ANC recognizes NUM as an indispensable force within the South African society. Your voice, your existence, and your unwavering commitment to social justice are vital to our collective efforts to build a more equitable and prosperous nation, a nation where the dignity of labor is upheld and the fruits of our collective effort are shared by all. We wish you well in your 18th National Elective Congress and trust that robust engagements will deliver resolutions that continue to place the country and the alliance on a steady trajectory in advancing the National Democratic Revolution. Thank you very much. Amandla! Thank you.
Mata. Comrade Mbalula, on behalf of the leadership of the NUM, the Congress as large, we are saying to you, with this token of appreciation, we heard that you are pleading to us that we must unite as the working class with the alliance. And I'm sure you heard the president when he was saying, we will never leave the ANC. And I heard you correctly saying that we are having your back. So let's keep on, make sure that you are defending and protecting the working class at all costs. Thank you very much.
Comrades, the following are the marching orders. With respect, we will only introduce guests after lunch. What we are going to do now, the message I received is that the delegates must have their tax when they go to Serengeti or Clover Green. I will request the staff members of the NUM to usher our guests to any of the two. And all of you, you are allowed to enter any of the two serving points, Serengeti or Clover Green. I am expecting you here exactly 15 o'clock. You are released for now.